I like your background.
Mine or Dad?
Senior. Got his book poster out. That's the one I'm on.
How far did you make it?
I'm on 17.
Page 17 or chapter?
Yeah. Page 17.
You can only read so much during taking a crap.
I don't understand it. See how thick this one is versus his?
Oh, yeah.
And I got through this one a lot quicker than this one.
Yeah.
I don't understand it. Your pages are more dense, I guess. I don't know. It's
Font size.
I was like, yeah, I'll be able to get through this in like 2-3 days.
Mm-hmm.
It was like that's as far as I got in like 3 days.
Yeah, that's faster than I can read. I typically read like a chapter before bed and then just fall asleep whenever I'm reading a book.
It's like writing. You have to discipline yourself to do at least a page every single day.
I had to block out time to read. Like, all right, let's do this.
All right.
All right, lead heads. We are back with another episode of the Talking Lead podcast. Coming at you in the new month of, what is this, May? January, February, March, April, May?
It is.
May 1st today it's the 2nd actually. So we're 2 days into it as we're recording this. So reference to our content that we're talking about, anything current event-wise, you can put the date to it. But we're going to have a very great show today, very interesting show. I've been looking forward to this show. And if you're clicking stuff with your gun, stop it, Pierce. It picks up all background noises, so fidgeting noises. Today, Leadheads, we're going to be talking about. Let me get my screen up here so I can see where this is at. William Johnstone Taylor is our special guest today. He is an author, and he's written a series of books, fiction books, with the key figure of Jake Strom, focuses in on human trafficking. And we're going to find out some background about Mr. Taylor and Mr. Taylor's son, Pierce Taylor. You guys have probably heard me mention his name several times on the show. He is a leadhead. He's a listener, a supporter of the show. And he came to me and let me know that his dad was doing this, and I was very interested. And Mr. Taylor was kind enough to send me his books, and I really appreciate it because I'm hooked. I got to tell you, I'm really hooked on the first book here, and he's got 2 more in the series as well. And I've got those here. And we're going to talk about that. We're going to find out more about Mr. Taylor, and we're going to talk about the books. But before we do that, we got to do a little business with our sponsors and thank Keltec Weapons, sponsors of the Talking Lead podcast. If you guys get an opportunity, you're looking for some good gifts or just some good EDC kit and gear, you can go to their pro shop at keltecweapons.com. Use the code LEADHEAD, and you're going to get 15% off anything in their pro shop. No firearms. Firearms are not included in that. And they don't sell firearms. And somebody upset because they don't get a discount on firearms? I hear in the background there. But anything else, they've got cool flashlights. You got all kinds of different colors in these, and they've got another version of this that doesn't have the little trigger button down at the bottom. But they've got those. They've got their hats and shirts and the accessories. If you've got a KSG, you got a sub 2000. They've got cases and slings and all kinds of cool accessories that are in that pro shop too that you can use that discount code on. KeltecWeapons.com. Did you see the post I did with the PLR?
Yeah, that's pretty sweet. You know, the Jake Strom's home base and these books is about 20 minutes from Keltec's location.
Well, we're going to talk about that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I caught that. So yeah,
Yeah.
we're going to talk about that also. But I have done some modifications to my PLR 16 Midwest Industries, which we had Troy from Midwest Industries on the last episode. And we talked about, what did we talk about? Oh, we were doing lever guns. We were talking about lever guns.
Mm-hmm.
I acquired me another one. Shh. Don't tell anybody. I went to an auction this last couple of days, and they had like, I don't know, I would say 10 Marlins, Winchesters, Henrys, lever action guns that were on the auction block, and people were just paying ridiculous prices, and that's something I want to talk about when we get to our jackwagon train. So remind me to bring that.
Price gougers.
I've got my Stealth Project suppressor. You have seen me make posts on social medias about my new Stealth Project suppressor. I'm going to take it out. I haven't tried it yet, but this is one of the guns I'm going to try it on. Is the PLR 16. I've got this will go. It's a multi-cal, so I can try different ones. 7.62, 308. So I'm going to try
thread, or is that a quick detach?
It's a quick detach. Yeah. And
how long were you waiting on that?
So that took me about a year to get that out of jail. So I've visited it a couple of times. I got medical visits.
Yeah. I have a Dead Air Sandman S that I put the Form 4 in for November without realizing that 1 month later they'd be opening up e-forms.
Yeah.
So I'll be waiting a year when if I had waited a month, it could have been 90 days.
Yeah. So it's supposed to be like 3 months now is as long as it's supposed to take, which I don't understand how, like you said, if I waited a month, what's the difference?
Mm-hmm. I might have a jack wagon in that regard too.
Yeah, I think we probably find a couple in that. So go check out Keltec, and we still got that episode with Chad that we're going to be talking about their new 9mm, the P15, and I still hadn't got it yet, so I got no input on it yet. Mission First Tactical, go use the code LEADHEAD at Mission First Tactical, and you can get 20% off anything at Mission First Tactical. They've got their cool 30-round magazines, AR magazines, where you can get custom graphics. We could get your cover your book put on there.
There you go.
Bill.
Yeah, that's neat. Yeah.
So we can do that. I got one there. This is one I'm not supposed to show, so y'all didn't see that. That's a test. So you can get all kinds of cool things put on your 30 round, and they've got AR-10 magazines now, so you can get your 308 mags there, and then of course the awesome dump trays. I think I got one handy here. The cool dump trays. I use them for armorer's trays. This is an older model. Yeah. The ones they have now are a lot thicker than these.
It's like a 2-piece now too.
Yeah, they went all. I just liked them like this. I thought they were cool just like this, but then they went all fancy and did like a 2-layer thing on them. I've got them all stacked up there on my shelf up there. You can see them underneath the 308. So, but we'll be giving away these on the AK corner. I don't have any to give away today, unfortunately. But I think we gave enough away last episode. How many prizes did we give away last episode, Pierce? It's
the last
10 hats. You're wearing one of them.
Yeah.
You're wearing one right there.
Third pin hat right there.
Third pin hat.
Oh, at least 10 things.
Yeah, there's more than that. We gave away SEAL 1. We gave away Mission First Tactical. We gave away 5 hats, 5 safety, AK safety things from Dissident Arms.
Right.
And there was something else we gave away. I can't remember what it was.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Did you get a chance to play with those safeties at Kalash Bash?
I probably did. I don't remember it. So I'll have to, if I get to go, then I'll definitely try them out. Did you get one of the safeties? No, you got the hat.
I got the hat. No, but I played with the safety at Kalash Bash. You basically flex your hand and it engages it. It's a really cool feature.
Yeah, we'll get more coverage of that once Kalash Bash gets here later on in the year. And then that brought up something else you were talking about. I wanted to bring up is the giveaway. We're giving away that optic from Primary Arms. And do you remember what all the specs were on that optic?
Not off the top of my head. It's the G2X. I can't remember.
Let me see if I can find it here. It's got such a long description of what it is. I just say it's like a $300 and almost a $400 optic that we're giving away. And the last episode and the episode before that, I gave you clues on what you needed to do to get registered to do that. And surprisingly, there's only like 10 people that have done it. So your odds are really good. So if you're listening to this episode, is that something we can do anything about?
Yeah, let me try.
If you think anybody would be interested, I can send you a couple of books you can give away if you like.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we can do that. You had sent me two. You sent me two of these.
Yeah, well, one of them is signed and the other one is not, correct?
Correct. Well, it's actually not signed. You put a sticky note on there.
There you go.
I was like, okay, if that's what you call signed, but that'll work.
Didn't I sign the other book?
No, the other one it didn't have anything in it. No, that's what you did. You signed it right there on a sticky note.
You got shortchanged.
Well, we'll have to meet up in person because we talked about you and Pierce coming up to Royal Range, and we'll do some shooting and stuff. And I'll bring my book there, and then I'll let you sign it. Anyway, I'm not gonna look it up. I ain't got time. Ain't got time to do that. So if you guys are interested, which apparently nobody is, you can go back to the previous episode and the AK corner, and you can listen to the end of the AK corner. I can't make it any easier than to tell you where to go listen. It's at the very end, and the instructions are there, and the description on the optic is like I said, it's like an almost $400 that we're giving away. And
I have to wait until Pierce gets sick of his optics before I get new ones.
You get the hand-me-downs?
Yeah, for sure. He built me a rifle. In fact, I think it's someplace around here. He built me a AR that's absolutely incredible with Marine Corps acid-etched Marine Corps emblems in it.
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
is that the one behind you?
Say again?
Is that the one behind you?
Yep. Hey, there it is.
Hey.
It was around here someplace.
Speaking of the devil, there it is. That is a nice one. And you built that, Pierce?
Yeah, I built it. Actually, I lived in Orlando for a while and had a buddy who was tight with the guys down at Spikes, and so I actually went and was able to pick at their blim piles and got a blim barrel, blim upper receiver, checked it all out. Could not tell. Couldn't even see where the supposed blim was, but yeah, they went crazy and put the EGA on it and marked it all up USMC for Dad.
Very nice. Yeah, it looks really, really, really nice. I like it. Is that a pistol?
No, it's a full rifle.
It's full rifle. Okay, very cool. We'll take that thing out and shoot it. Bring it up to Nashville when you guys come to Royal Range, and we'll run it.
Definitely.
Be a good time. So we're talking about doing another AK course at Royal Range. I was talking with Art the other day, and there's interest there. And I've talked with our good buddy Seagraves, Jared. I was going to call him Jason. It was Jared. Jared Seagraves, who is now with Haley Strategic.
Okay.
I think he's interested, and then possibly even we might have tactical response there. We might get James Yeager and do some training on an AK course. So I want to see the level of interest from you leadheads. So if that's something that you're interested in, I don't have dates or anything yet. So if we do it, we're looking at maybe later this year, or maybe the first part of next year, sometime like after SHOT Show or something. But if that's something that you're interested in, I'm just trying to get a pulse right now. Email me, talkinglead@gmail.com. Let me know if that's something that you'd be interested in, and I will definitely put effort into it to try to put something together like we did the last one, which was a really good course, and I really enjoyed it. I got a lot out of it too. I know the people that attended did too. I think we had somewhere around, I don't know, like 20 or 30 people that showed up.
I'm still
for that.
kicking myself for not going.
Oh, you should have, man. It was a really good one. We had Brian Keeney there, and he did a little side class. We did it like in groups. So one group was out on the range shooting, then we had one group in, and we were doing armorers, like an armorer's course for AKs. And he was giving tips and tricks on cleaning and disassembling, reassembling, and tools and all kinds of stuff. So it was a really, really fun course. And then we had some giveaways and things that we were doing. And if I put this one on, we're going to actually get vendors there too. I'm going to have vendors, so we'll have probably lots of giveaways.
Awesome.
For this one, for the people who attend to do the class. But I think we're going to open it up to the public, so people who don't take the course can still come, hang out, mess around with the vendors, shoot their guns on the range. But of course, the funnest part is going to be, taking the course if we put that on. So
yeah, making an event.
Yeah, let me know if you're interested in us putting on another AK Concepts course here in Nashville. So I wanted to get that out there before we get started. And then, of course, SEAL 1, you guys go check out SEAL 1. And that's the first thing that I did with this 30-30 Winchester. This is a 1964. It's not the pre-64s, which that's the, seems to be the ones that everybody's after. I mean, these are just as good and solid. I think there's some like internal parts that are different is what the difference is. I think they went with, instead of using like a solid metal or a different kind of metal on some of the screws and pins and things. But this one was in really good shape. But after I ran my SEAL 1 CLP, really cleaned it up, and it looks great now.
Is that the side mount scope?
No, this has, well, you've got the pins where you could.
Is it tapped already? Oh, yeah.
Oh.
I love the look of that metal. It's like slightly patinaed.
Yeah, it's got, the blue has worn off of it. It's got a nice patina to it.
Gorgeous.
But haven't shot it yet. I'm waiting on Pete to start cranking out that 30-30 ammo so I can try it out. But I got my dad's also. So my dad's was I think it said it was a 74. I think it was a 1974. And I can't tell really any difference in the two. Looking at it, the thing looks pretty much identical. So, but I'm going to take them out. I'll do a video. We'll probably do another follow-up because we did lever action. Was it the last episode? I think we talked about the lever action. But that's uncharted territory for me. So that kind of got the bug going. And as you can see, it really clicked. So I went, don't tell Tia.
Are we gonna start seeing a cowboy corner segment?
I don't know. We might, or it might just be. Really, the lever gun is really the only thing that in that era. I mean, I like the wheel guns, but I don't like them that well.
Not yet.
But you never know what it's going to lead to. One thing leads to another. So I never thought I'd get into AKs like I got into AKs. You just never know what's going to click. But I am really digging the lever guns. So 2 Winchesters now. So we'll keep tabs and see how many start adding up. Maybe I'll get a Henry, maybe I'll get a Marlin. But that's something I want to talk about. So let's do that now. Let's go support our sponsor, SEAL 1. Go to seal1.com. Use the code LEADHEAD, 25% off. And then I've got more that we'll give you toward the end of the show. And if you're watching the video, I usually have like a scroller with the websites and the codes and everything like that. So if you watch the video, check that out. And I have caught up on the videos. I know I was like 4 or 5 behind. Now I'm just one behind. I don't have the lever action episode up yet, but I'm in the process of getting that done. So that'll get me caught up just right behind this episode. So if you like the videos, go check those out too. And usually I edit a little different, the videos versus the podcast. There's always something in one that you're not going to hear in the other. So go check them out. So let's do that. Let's do the jackwagon train, and then we want to get into talking more about Mr. Taylor, your books, get a little bit of your history, your background, find out more about you coming up. But Gunny, bring that train in, and let's take care of some jackwagons. And I edit the sound effects in. All right, the train has stationed. And you guys want me to get the ball rolling on this jackwagon train, or you guys got somebody in mind you want to throw on?
I mean, if you got one fired up, go ahead.
All right. So as I said, I went to a gun auction this past weekend here in Tennessee. It's a town called Columbia. And I guess it was like an estate sale, or one person couldn't have owned all these guns. So I think it might have been several different estates. But as you can see here, I've got a page, and it's front and back of guns, and it's legal paper. That's how many guns they had at this. And that's probably nothing for some of these auctions that maybe some of you guys have been to, but it went on. It started at 10, and I think it was over at like 3 o'clock. And they were just going one gun after the other. Boom, 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 boom. And they had some other stuff they threw in. But I got there a little bit late. And I got there, I don't know, I probably missed about 20 guns. But there were Sky 9mm, Rugers, Taurus, nothing that I was really interested in. And I don't think anybody else was. A Smith & Wesson M&P Shield. But I was writing down the prices because I wanted to know, compare it to what, if I were just go buy one new or whatever, or off the internet, compare it to that. So for instance, a Glock 36 45 ACP at auction, how much you think it went for?
Over 5 for sure.
You think over 5?
Yeah.
What do you think, Mr. Taylor?
I'd say probably somewhat over 5.
Okay. It went for $550.
Okay.
At auction. You could go and buy
that price.
Yeah, you could go buy that anywhere, and I found other places online that you could get them for less than that. You could get them for like $4.99.
It's not even a desirable model really anymore.
Yeah, the Glock 36 45 ACP went for $550. The next gun was a 6-hour P365 9mm box unfired. So practically, brand new gun. How much do you think it went for?
$650.
What do you think, Mr. Taylor?
Yeah, I would say probably less than 6.
Okay. Pierce was closed $675. And I looked them up, and all day long you can get them for $5.99.
Right. They had them at my local gun store the other day for I think $5.79.
Oh wow, even better. So yeah, $5.99 or less, you could go pick one of these. $675 somebody paid for it at auction. And this is early in the auction. It's not like, people have already got their bidding fever going or anything like that. And
it wasn't like touched by any celebrity or anything, was it? Nothing special about it?
No. No, it didn't have anything extra with it. It might have had an extra magazine, but I think they come with one anyway, don't they? For the most part.
SIG was doing something weird for a while where they'd give you one magazine with the 365s and then a voucher that you had to send off for another one, and they sent you one in the mail. But they're supposed to come with 2.
Yeah. A Smith & Wesson 629, 6.5-inch barrel, 44 mag. Revolver. How much you think it went for?
$1,400.
Really? 1,400. What about you, Mr. Taylor?
I'm not familiar with it, but
Yeah, I wasn't real familiar with it either.
I would
Well, it went
say
for
probably
1,025 is what it went for.
really.
I looked it up, and they were going anywhere from 800 to 900. Another
Jeez.
one. I didn't look this one up. Let's see. Here's one somebody might have got a good deal on. A Remington 1911 R1, which I used to have one of those. And I think I paid like 500 and something when I got mine brand new. Maybe 600. I don't even think I paid that much. But I understand prices have gone up a little bit. So what do you think a Remington 1911 R1 45 caliber went for?
Probably right around $1,000.
Think
Yes,
so?
I was going to say, yeah.
725. And I looked them up and they were going for $799. So they actually got a little deal there, I would think.
Okay.
But so then let's get into some of these. So they had a Norinco was up on the auction block. SKS, Norinco SKS. How much do you think it went for? An SKS now.
Yeah.
Which those were going for
$300 before the pandemic.
400, yeah, before all this.
I'd say probably 9.
You want to give a guess, Mr. Taylor?
Yeah, I'd say probably 750.
Bam, you nailed it. Sold for 750. And then I was finding them for 650, around 650 or less. I saw some that were fairly. They might not have been in as good condition as this one. This one was in fairly good condition. It had the bayonet.
Okay.
But I've been seeing them.
I don't think you can find Mosins for under like $499 right now.
No, those are hot. Mosins are hot. They had an International Harvester M1, and they had a Springfield M1 Garand. How much do you think the International Harvester M1 762? And it came with a hard case. It wasn't like an original hard case or anything. It just had like an aftermarket hard case with it.
2,400.
2,000.
1950. 1,950. How much do you think the Springfield went for? It's a 30-06.
I have no idea.
I think probably about 3.
About 3,000?
Yeah.
Yeah, it went for 1,900.
That'd be an interesting.
Did you look it up to see what it?
Oh yeah, I looked those up and they were going all kinds of different crazy prices. So there wasn't anything that was really consistent. So I think probably whoever got that, I mean, that's probably not a great deal. I mean, it's an auction, you know, when you go to auction, it's like either you're a hardcore collector and that's something you got to have to finish your collection and you'll pay whatever, or you're there, which I think most of these people were, to buy them and resell them.
Yeah.
Or add them, you know, hold on to them for future value.
Yeah. Which is why I thought it was weird when you said they had like Skies and Rugers at the auction.
Yeah. They had like 6 or 7 Skies that they were doing toward the beginning of it. And I don't know what those went for because I wasn't there, so I didn't write that down. So there was a Tommy gun. They had a Tommy gun, and it had stick mag and drum mag with it. And I think it was unshot. It was an Auto Ordnance 1927 A1 45 with drum and box.
One drum?
Yeah, one drum. And I think it had a stick magazine too.
Is that like the historical version or one of the more recent kind of, I don't know if it's be considered a clone, but they do have kind of modern manufactured ones.
Yeah, I wasn't. I don't think it was an original. It says 1927 right here, but I think that's just like what it
Maybe
was
a
modeled.
model.
Al
I'm not
Capone signed it.
Yeah. How much you think
Yeah.
it went for?
Probably a
Jeez.
couple grand.
Oh, I'd say more than that. Yeah, probably close to 5.
It went for 3,300.
Hmm.
Which I looked those up, and some of the places I saw you could buy 2 for that price.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Have a selector, do you know?
Like a full auto? No, it wasn't full auto. No, it would be 33,000 or more if it
Or
was
more, yeah.
if it was a full auto. Yeah, definitely.
Those
So that
transferable machine guns are crazy expensive.
and so the point I'm getting to, and some of those lever actions were going for, like there was 2 Winchester Model 94 30-30s. What do you think that went? What do you think those went for? I'm not gonna tell you what.
Do you want to disclose what you paid?
I'm not gonna tell you what I paid for mine, but I'll tell you what one of them went for, and I didn't pay that for mine.
Yeah.
Went for $950.
Okay.
There was a Marlin 336 30-30. It went for $775.
I got one of those bought it from a buddy a couple years ago for $200.
Right? You know, that's what I thought. You know, you get lever actions for $200-300, but
I
when
got
we
mine
did
from J.C. Penney for like $60 back in the 70s. Yeah, really. They made a big mistake.
Do you still have it?
I bought 10 of them.
I'll give you 100.
No, it's probably sitting right there behind Pierce someplace. I love it. I love going out plinking with it. It's got a scope on it, and with the Marlin, you can mount it on the top. You have to worry about the slide.
Yeah, I did a little research, and I saw where this guy has made a non-drill Picatinny rail that you can add to the top,
like clamps on, right?
So you remove the dovetail,
Mm-hmm.
and he's got a little piece that goes in there that I guess secures it, and then he's got a little screw that you go down and secure it in there, and then there's a front like screw clamp toward the front of it, and then the thing that goes on the side is like a clamp. You tighten it down, and it goes just right in this area is where it clamps down. So it doesn't impede with the top ejection or anything, but it goes from here to right about here. So it would be hard to mount like a scope, but you can put, a red dot or a light or something like that on there. But I thought that was kind of cool because that's something I don't want to do is get into drilling into my rifles. And I really
especially not one from the 60s there.
Yeah, I really wish Steve at Mad Pig did Winchesters because I would love to send him my dad's and have my dad's modernized.
Well, if we get the lead heads to bug him enough, maybe it will.
Well, see, I mean, he's got enough business, I guess, with the Marlins and Henrys that he's doing that. And I don't know if I forgot to ask Troy if because Midwest Industries makes the handguards, the lock handguards for them, and I didn't. I can't remember if he said that they fit on Winchesters or not.
I think you did ask, and I don't think they do, because I know the model of Marlin that I have is not the model that those rails fit on.
Okay.
I can't remember off the top of my head the model numbers, but I remember there are in the 30-30 that I had there's 2. One did not, and I ended up with the one that did not.
There was a Henry Big Boy 30-30 lever that went for $900. And there's a Marlin 336A 30-30 with a scope, went for $900. I mean, I guess I can see it because it came with a scope, but it wasn't like a high dollar scope.
Was it like a whitetail from Walmart mounted on there?
It looked like one, you know, how they sell them.
PVC from Home Depot.
How they sell them as packages, you know, rifles with the scopes, kind of, and it's usually a cheaper, like Nikon or something. I mean, I don't know. I don't know what scope was on it, but $900 for that. And then another one that I was interested in, there was an Inland M1 carbine, 30 caliber carbine. How much do you think it went for? Inland.
Probably around the same as that American Harvester.
What do you think?
I'm not that familiar with it, so.
It went for $1,400.
Okay.
Huh.
And it was in really great shape too. It was in really, really good shape. I was expecting it to go for more than what I wanted to pay. Same thing with the Garands, but you never know. So I was there hoping that something that somebody wasn't looking for or interested in, but they just happened to be. Same thing with the lever guns too. There was people there that knew and wanted those. But that was the one when mine came up. It wasn't on the original list, so I thought they were done. And then I was going through the list, and it was toward the end of the auction that I was like, "Oh shoot, there's another one." And a lot of people had left by then, so I got lucky.
Yeah.
Those guys that were interested in them earlier had left, and so I got a really good deal on mine.
You know, Marbles taught us not to leave before the credits are over.
Exactly. You know, they conditioned us well. But that's kind of, you know, my jackwagon are these people that are overpaying, like way overpaying, where you could go and, you know, you could buy, you know, like some of these you could go buy 2 for what they were paying. KSG shotgun went for $800, which, you know, $800 for KSG, you could, like the Glock, you could go pretty much anywhere if you can find them, I guess.
Yeah.
And get you a KSG.
Yeah, I think those are going for about $750 brand new off the shelf.
Exactly. So, you know, at auctions, you got these fees too that you pay. There, you know, I don't think there was any on these. I don't think there was a buyer's premium on these. I didn't. I know there wasn't, but sometimes you have like buyer's premiums and stuff like that at auctions too. So it makes it even more. Just people paying these ridiculous prices for stuff. And there were some other things that I was just like shocked. I couldn't believe that people were paying. There was a Browning Satori Grand Lightning 16 gauge with box, sold for $2,300, which I know the Satoris are kind of higher end and you know more sought after.
But a 16 gauge?
16 gauge.
Yeah.
Which, you know, I think that's probably kind of rare.
Maybe.
There was something else that was. They had some interest. They had like starter guns, like cap guns, starter guns. We were paying $90 for them. It's like you can go online and get them for $30. We were paying $90 for them. Oh, there was these two.
Is this the kind of auction you go to and they don't run the background checks? And
no,
people are paying the premium.
That's what I was going to say.
No, there was a gun. It was on site at a gun store, so you had to go get the background check before you could leave with your gun. So no, everything was above board, legit. The ammo that they sold had tax stamps. So I know it was a very, very well run auction. They had 2 Walther PPKS 4.5 millimeter BB guns.
BB guns.
Yeah. And they sold them as a pair, and somebody paid $190 for both of them. I looked them up online. You get them for $30.
People just spend.
Jackwagons. You know, keep people from like me from being able to buy cool guns when they're going and paying these ridiculous prices at auctions for them.
You ever wanted to go to that Rock Island auction?
Just kind of like I want to go to the Barrett auto auction. I know there's nothing that I'm going to be able to afford or own, but I would just like to go and see it. Yeah, definitely.
Same.
just to sell the history that's there. So that's my jackwagon. These people at auctions that just overpay, that get into the heat of the moment. And what about you guys? You got any jackwagons?
How about the ATF and how they rolled out the e-forms a month after I submitted my last Form 4?
Perfect timing, right?
Yeah, I heard somebody was telling me that if you were to withdraw your Form 4 and try to resubmit it as an e-form, they would arbitrarily add 1 year to your wait.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
That's a jackwagon move.
Yeah, I don't have a citation for that one, but if true, I mean, we don't really need much more reason to throw the ATF on the jackwagon, but that's a bit annoying.
Have you heard any updates on the 80%? What's the latest you've heard?
Well, they were going crazy on that for 3 days, and then our news cycle changed, and I haven't heard anything about it since. I think the open comment period is open right now, so I think you can go ahead and send your comments into the ATF or the National Register, and write your senators and your congressmen to oppose that 80% ban. But it got quieted up real quick.
Yeah. I hadn't heard much about it either. I think that's probably why they quieted it. They don't want people going and doing their comments.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I haven't heard anything about the pistol brace either, because they were gung ho on that for a hot minute, and then everything went quiet.
Yeah. So yeah, ATF always a good candidate for the jackwagon train.
They have a permanent seat.
I always like going to the gun shows and picking out the ATF agents that are wandering around looking over your shoulder. They normally have probably as many as 10 agents working gun shows out to write tag numbers down.
Oh yeah, I've heard about that.
Somebody said they have a booth at SHOT Show.
ATF? They might.
Yeah, they actually had like a table set up.
That's brave. I mean, it's good PR, I guess. You got somebody brave enough to go there and take the brunt of their disgust. So I've got another one. Elon, you heard all the news about Elon Musk buying Twitter.
Oh yeah.
It's supposedly, I mean, I don't know. I've heard rumors he's supposed to like unban people and, do this, that, and the other. But there's this one guy, Mike Lindell. Are you familiar with Mike Lindell, the My Pillow guy?
My Pillow. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, which, I mean, he looks like a jackwagon to me anyway. He looks like he'd be a real douchebag, but I mean, he may be a great guy. I don't know. I don't know the guy or
he's kind of an oddball.
He seems like it. Yeah, and I think he was
the cross, the crucifix that he wears keeps getting bigger and bigger as he gets more and more products to sell.
Yeah,
pretty soon he'll have it over his shoulder and he'll be limping down the road someplace in Palestine.
I think he was like back in the day. I mean, I think he was a felon. I think he got like busted for drugs or something. I don't know. Anyway,
yeah, he was homeless or
born again Christian, whatever, multi-millionaire. But anyway, he tried to get back on Twitter. And I guess he heard, Elon was taking over. So I guess he figured that, he was cool to come back on. And he started another account. And then like within a day or two after him getting it up, they banned him again.
I heard he only lasted a couple of hours.
Maybe it was just a couple of hours.
Yeah.
It says the account was quickly banned for violating Twitter's ban evasion policy.
Right.
So
all
apparently,
2 pages of it.
He should have waited a little bit longer.
Yeah, apparently Elon Musk or whatever you say his name is not gone into effect yet.
No, well, I mean, he announced, or he made the offer and the board accepted the offer. And I'm sure it'll be months until all the paperwork and all the final takeovers are negotiated, like a a purchase of a company doesn't happen overnight.
Yeah. And then all the policy changes and all that even take even longer.
Yeah.
To go through. I heard he was going to fire the attorney who that attorney supposedly is making $17 million a year. Oh my
Jealous.
God. 17 million.
Was she at that auction you were at?
She was the one driving the prices up.
Yeah.
Probably.
$600 for a Sky.
Yeah.
You get the starter pistols.
Yeah, the BB guns.
Yeah.
She's probably the one who paid the $190 for the 2 BB guns. The Walther PPS. So Alec Baldwin, I told you guys I was going to keep you updated on Alec Baldwin, what's going on with him. I wasn't going to let this slip through the cracks. Apparently they have released the police body cam footage and interviews and whatnot that they were doing with him. Haven't really heard much more about that, but they said there was video showing him that he did pull the trigger.
So there's a picture that came out that it was a picture, I guess maybe a screenshot from something, and it was his finger was on the trigger.
Yeah, they were doing some
body.
They were showing the rehearsal footage. They were doing like close-in pans, and he had, and he was drawing the gun, and yeah, his finger was on the trigger. Now they didn't show the actual where he shot the 2 people. They didn't show that. They were just showing like the prior to that footage. So that's still ongoing, and it's like there's some more damning evidence there against Alec. And there's all kinds of lawsuits. I mean, people are just coming out of the woodworks. The props or the crafty people are even suing him. I mean, it's like anybody and everybody.
The emotional damage.
Yeah, those people are jackwagons. It's people like that. It's like that affected you. No way, no how did that affect you. And they're the ones that are suing him. I think actually the first person who brought suit to him was like a
makeup artist or something, right?
Like a stagehand or something. Yeah, just had nothing to do with it at all.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you're an attorney. You know how messed up this legal system is.
Yeah.
No,
that's when anything like that happens, if anybody can get a piece, they're gonna try, at the very least, get some sort of settlement out of it. The production has insurance. Alec Baldwin was a producer, and a lot of deep pockets there, even though I think it was an independent film.
Yeah, but he was one of the producers on it. His responsibility goes even further than him actually being the person who fired the gun, discharged the gun.
From a civil liability standpoint, but jury's out on the criminal stuff. We'll see.
Yeah. Now, criminally, I don't think there was any intent. I don't think he planned it or, any of that. I don't think that was. I think it was the armorer. From everything that I've heard, I think it was the armorer's responsibility ultimately, and they're the ones that probably should be charged with, because there were some text messages that I had read. They were going back with her and I guess the guy who's in charge of the ammo or the guns, and she was asking, what would it be okay if I fired live rounds, through this gun? And the guy was like, he didn't recommend it. You shouldn't do it. She basically said, I'm going to do it anyway. Is what the text that I was reading. So I think she probably, or whoever that was, probably was responsible for having the live rounds on set. But it still remains to be seen. I think this one's going to be, we're at least a year out probably from hearing anything on this. Which brings me to the, and we're going to get to you. I promise, Bill, we're going to get to you. This brings me to the, have you watched the Captain Jack? What's his name?
Johnny Depp and Amber Heard.
Johnny Depp and Amber Heard, yeah. Have you watched any of that?
I've seen a few clips. I've not really been paying a ton of attention to it, but the memes that have come out of that have been phenomenal.
It is a show in of itself. I watched the Johnny Depp when he took the stand as much as I could because it was just excruciatingly painful to watch and listen to. It's like he's basically telling his biography right here. It's like, what's the point in all this?
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so I think the Amber Heard chick's supposed to take the stand the next day or two. So it's
okay.
And I understand she's batshit crazy, so I can't wait to hear her testimony.
No, I did see a clip that I liked the other day where Johnny Depp was testifying, and he was maybe rambling a little bit, and the Amber Heard's attorney, Amber Heard's attorney was like, "Well, you need to be respectful of the court's time," and Johnny Depp shot back at him, "Oh, like you were when you were searching for evidence for 15 minutes," because there apparently he was just trying to flip through his notes to find something, just took forever.
It's been entertaining to say the least. His bodyguard was on today. I caught a little bit of that today, and he was pretty funny to listen to. Give his testimony to. But anyway, so if you've got jack wagons, send them in, talkinglead@gmail.com. If you got heroes, and I don't have any really heroes. I did have this one story real quick, and I'm not really calling her a hero, but it's a jailbreak that happened in Alabama. So apparently what is she? She was like some high official at this prison. Her name's Vicky White.
Oh, I saw something on that.
Oh yeah, right. That's in Georgia.
Is it Georgia or Alabama?
Georgia or Alabama?
I
think it was Alabama.
But the guy she ran off was 6'9". How the hell's he hide any place?
Right. So here's what she did, and I'm not saying she's my hero, but she's not making a hero out of her at all. But so apparently she and this dude had something going on, but she was like, all right, and he was supposed to go to trial like the next day or two. And she said, I got to take him down to get a mental evaluation for the trial. And that's how she got out of the jail with him. Well, she's not supposed to do that, by herself. She's supposed to have an escort with her to do that. But apparently she didn't do it. And that's when they did their getaway, and they parked their car in some like Walmart parking lot, ditched the police car, got in another car, and they're 3 sheets to the wind. They're gone. Mm-hmm. And that, they're looking for them right now. But this chick was like, she was retiring the next day.
What?
She'd already, made plans to retire. She sold her home, moving to the beach, blah, blah, blah. So, nobody saw this coming just completely out of the blue.
Shouldn't be too hard to find him. Just find the car where the guy's with his head out the sunroof.
Yeah.
Like a big Great Dane.
6'9".
A big dude. He's 6'9" tall, weighs approximately 260 pounds. Brown hair, hazel eyes. Casey White is an extremely dangerous person, and we need to get him located and get him off the street, is what they're saying. He was serving a prison sentence for attempted murder and burglary and was set to go to trial next month for stabbing death of a 58-year-old woman, charged for which he would face the death penalty if convicted. So he is definitely a jackwagon. He definitely needs to face his crime. But the audacity of this Vicky White, and they're not related. His name's Casey White. She's Vicky White. She's 56, and I think he's 38. Something like that. It says the vehicle carrying the two, when they left the detention center, was found at a nearby shopping center parking lot. according to the sheriff's office. The newly discovered surveillance video showing the vehicle at a stoplight minutes after leaving the jail led investigators to believe that they went directly to the parking lot without stopping at the courthouse, which is where they were supposed to do like the mental evaluation. And they said that there was no evaluation scheduled. So she just flat out lied and ran off with this guy. Or maybe, I don't know, maybe he had something on her, you know? Maybe he had some guys on the outside that's holding her daughter hostage or something. I mean, who knows? I don't know. But sounds to me like she might got a little schmitten with him. I don't know. What do you think?
I don't know. When you said they were going to the courthouse, I was thinking one of those courthouse wedding kind of things.
Now this sounds like something that'd be right up. And do you want me to call you William or Bill?
Bill. Bill's good.
Okay.
Anything but
Bill,
late for dinner.
You know, with your background, let's talk about your background. Talk about what you did in your prior life. This would be a good segue.
I was a neutral Confederate Union soldier in my prior life. I invented shoe polish.
Shoe polish.
Anyhow, well, you want a quick run or the one with all the jokes in it?
As detailed as you can get with us. Tell us.
Well,
so our listeners,
I can get pretty detailed as a kid. Then it gets more and more complicated.
Well, kind of do the nutshell version then.
Okay.
Just to give our listeners an idea of your background, what it is that you do, you know, when we get into the books as well. But I was saying, you know, this sounds like something, this prison escape, missing person kind of thing would be kind of your forte, I would think.
Yeah, I've seen a few.
Finding people.
It's always a possibility, you know. There was a double murder case in North Carolina. I worked when I was a CID agent for the Marine Corps. And I thought for sure I arrested the guy that had killed. It was a Corinne Laverne murder, George Welts or one of her friends. And this guy, there was just no doubt. I mean, it would take me an hour to give you the background on it, but there was no doubt in my mind that this guy was the killer, to the point where I almost shot him, but I had lost my pistol. They'd come out of my belt as I was chasing him across the field. So I nailed him with my handcuffs, brought him in. This guy was guilty, no doubt about it. Went home, went to bed, felt good about myself. About a month later, the guy comes walking into my office, the CID office at Main Side, Camp Lejeune, North Carolina, and wants to talk to me. Oh, you know, it was late at night. I was about done in, and I did everything I could to discourage him to leave. Come back some other time when I wasn't on duty. Make a long story short, about a week later, a guy came in and started talking about his bunkmate had told him that he had killed some people out in Jacksonville, North Carolina. Showed him a bloody knife. So
in the prison?
Went down. No, this is and in the barracks at Camp Lejeune.
Oh, damn.
As I said, I could go on forever about it, but we went down and shook him out of the sack. As soon as I put the light in his face, I realized it was the guy that wanted to see me the week before. Same guy. We opened up his wall locker. He had bloody clothes, the knife, and we brought him in. It was the guy that we had in jail at the brig there's just no doubt in my mind. That taught me right then and there, even though I'd been in the business a little bit, that taught me to don't be so sure. Look a little deeper.
Mm-hmm.
And that's, as I say, Corinne Laverne, George Welts, this story came out in True Crime Magazine about it and all. It was very interesting.
So you're a Marine.
I am.
Talk about that.
Well, let me just start a little bit further back.
Yeah.
I was born into a family. My mother was a store detective for A&P food stores. A&P was a line of food stores for many, many years. And my father he'd come out of the Navy of the Second World War, and he went to work for Army intelligence at the Navy base in Boston. Go figure. And so I used to go out with my mother to A&P's food stores while she was working, and I would take and do distractions. I'd knock a pile of cans down or something, and she would stand back and watch the cash registers. And as soon as I made the noise, people all looked the other way, and if 2 or 3 of the checkout clerks stuffing their pockets with cash out of the register. It was just really bizarre. My father, well, if you want to grow up and not get away with anything, have a mother that's a store detective and your father who's Army intelligence, you think you'd grow up and be a priest or something. Turned out I got away with quite a bit. And I got.
So were you part of that ring? Were you part of that theft ring?
Oh, I was.
What was your cut?
I didn't hear you.
I said, what was your cut in all that? How much were you getting paid?
Oh, it would have been nice. I think the reason I was really brought along is because they couldn't afford childcare.
Yeah.
In any event, I grew up in south of Boston, moved up to New Hampshire, my family did. And when I was 16, I took off and moved to Florida on my own. Moved in with an aunt and uncle.
Why would you go to Florida? Because you had family down there?
Yeah, well, I had an aunt and uncle. Not by marriage, but aunt and uncle, like.
Yeah. Friends of
mother's best friend and all that stuff.
Yeah.
And enrolled in school, Satellite Beach, Florida. Probably the first or the second week I was there in Florida.
What year was this? Would have been
62.
Okay.
Probably
that gives us
September of 62.
Gives me an idea of what Florida.
You guys weren't born yet,
Yeah, but gives us an idea historically, what Florida was like then. Not the big tourist destination that it is today.
Oh, it was quite. Well, we first moved down there. We moved to Satellite Beach, Patrick Air Force Base, where they had the tech lab, and it's right at Cape Canaveral. We moved from Satellite Beach up to Merritt Island, which is a beautiful, beautiful place to live.
I've been there. I like it.
And one day I was driving down South Tropical Trail, which, it's like being in a garden wonderland. I looked out at it, and there's a couple of islands between Merritt Island and Patrick Air Force Base. And I saw a guy standing out there in the water. I saw his Jeep was parked in the bushes. I just, for kicks and giggles, turned around.
I love you.
I love you too.
Look at
Sorry
there.
about that.
No, that's fine. What's up, knucklehead? Good night. Good night. Good night, little buddy.
Say bye-bye.
Bye.
Better watch that finger next time too, buddy.
Anyhow, I turned around and went back just because it just struck me strange. And the guy was walking back to the Merritt Island from the water. He had on waders. And as he came up, I saw what I thought it was a gun mount that he was carrying out. I'm 16 years old. What do I know? And he came out and he looked at me and put his stuff away, come over and shook my hand, introduced himself, and then named me. Now we could go on forever about things that I have just fallen into. That's I could watch a case come down on TV and know that I was going to be part of that case. And then, we did a lot of things: the Greensboro murders, the missing and murdered children in Atlanta, the Karen Silkwood case. It goes on and on and on. Things that I had seen.
You're with the Marines?
No, this is after I get out. Well, let me skip back. This guy's name was Richard. I named him in my books as VAN, Van. That's not his real name.
This the guy getting out of the water?
Yeah.
Okay.
And it turns out that he, as we were talking there at the side of the road, that he knew my uncle, the one whom I lived with in Satellite Beach. My uncle was in the Air Force. And it turns out he was a card-carrying CIA agent. And this guy, Richard, was basically his partner in the CIA.
Yeah.
Without getting too much deeper in it, wasn't
so your
about
uncle
a week.
CIA and this guy's his partner.
Yeah, and this guy Richard's obviously CIA. He had the reputation. He turned out he lived this next street over from where my mother lived, my parents, and he had a reputation for not being a great guy because he couldn't keep a job. Turns out what he was doing is moving around, infiltrating. He introduced me to some folks that turned out they were government agents. What agency, alphabets. And what I did for them is go in, first I went into bars at Cocoa Beach and in that area and got served at 16 years old. And they would pay me like $60 every time that I would get served. And they would go in and bust the club.
Right.
Bring him down to the police station, shut it down, bring him down to the police station, have him watch a Ohio State Police movie, showing kids getting killed, and then release them the next morning. So they got to feel terrible about themselves, not.
Sure.
But they lost a few $100s being shut down early in the evening.
Yeah. But you got $60 out of it.
I got $60 out of it.
Which
I got
back then,
$60. Sometimes I've hit 3 clubs a night. My father was making $48 a week for Lockheed, my stepfather, not the Army intelligence.
yeah.
But my stepfather, $48 a week, and I would go and make, on an average of about $120 a night. So, Mr. Big Time.
See.
In any event,
Easy
I
money.
did a few things for them, graduated into prostitution, where I would go out and pick up a hooker.
Oh, so you weren't the prostitute.
No, I didn't.
Get people on kitty porn.
I would try to kill time so I could at least get a look, but they were too quick. In any event, we had the Cuban crisis going on at the time, as you wouldn't recall, but they did.
Oh yeah, I know history. Come on, son, give me credit.
In any event, I decided to join the Marine Corps, which was really a fake out because everybody that I knew, all my friends in the East Coast of Florida, would join in the Air Force or the Navy, and heading off to, we would just learn the word Vietnam. So it was, everybody was impressing their girlfriends by saying, I'm going in the Navy, I'm going in the Army, I'm going in the Air Force. And I'm standing there with a group of guys when I say, I'm going in the Marine Corps. I come from a long line of Marines, not my father, my uncles, all kinds of people that my relatives are in the Marines, Second World War, Korean. And everybody's saying, what? You're going to the Marine Corps? Yeah, I'm going down to see the recruiter tomorrow. Now everybody wants to ride with me to Orlando. Well, I go see the Marine Corps recruiter. I had no intention of going in the Marine Corps. I wanted to go in later on, but I wanted to get my education and what have you. And I brought 3 or 4 of them with me, parked out behind the Social Security building in Orlando where the recruiter's office was. Walked in the door, and this Marine gunnery sergeant had a hold of me. My first step hadn't gone down inside the door. He was hungry. Brought me up there to the office there, and he says, I need to give you a test. Do you want to come in the Marine Corps? I'm saying, well, I'm just kind of thinking about it. He'd say, wait a minute.
Chicken tires, right?
How many fingers am I holding up? And I said, 3. He said, yeah, it's the best score I've had all day. You're in. I said, well, yeah, no, I'm not going to sign anything. Anyhow, at that point, I was 17 years old. Couldn't go in without my parents' signature. Went home, hit the sack. Next morning, sun's just barely up, and my mother's knocking on my bedroom door. So I got up, slid it open. She said, there's somebody here to see you. And I looked behind her, and it's this gunnery sergeant sitting at my kitchen table, drinking my mother's coffee. And
would he follow you home?
Yeah. Well, I had given him my address and all that stuff when I was.
Oh, there's your first mistake. Yeah.
So she had already signed the papers.
She wanted to get rid of
the papers out in front of me. And so I signed them, and he said all these wonderful things. I was an aviation guarantee. I had flown planes a little bit with people who I knew that had their own planes. And my uncle was a Marine Corps aviator and was a member of the
This guy's telling you you're definitely going to go in the.
Oh, yeah, you're an aviation guarantee. This guy would have promised me a Cadillac if I had asked for it, Anyhow, a week later, basically, I'm on my way to Parris Island.
Were you just like disoriented? You're like, what the hell's going on? Or
my head was spinning. It's like, wow. In any event, I had been to Parris Island many times because my uncle lived right outside the main gate, the Marine Corps aviator, colonel. And so I wasn't that much afraid of what was going to go on in there because I had seen it. I figured I can live through anything, especially being raised by my mother. It was not quite as bad as Parris Island at home, just barely. In any event, I got went to boot camp, went to Nam 3 times, 34 months total. had, some interesting times. Maybe we could talk about it some other time, but
Hey, like you say in your book, that's a story for another time.
yeah. Oh, you got that far. Huh?
That too. Oh yeah, there's like several of those. You're like, well, that's a story for another time. I was like, oh, damn it.
But I came out of the Marine Corps. There was some terrible things going on. I was CID for Camp Lejeune, North Carolina, base CID.
What was your last tour of duty in Nam? What year was that?
I came back in August of 1970, I believe.
Year before I was born.
August of 70. My son was born. I'd only been over there just a few months, and my number 2 son was born. In August of 70. I came back and went to Camp Lejeune after they let me stay at home for like 40 days after I got back from Nam. Then they transferred me up to Camp Lejeune. I had we had a brand new baby. Got up there, went to base CID. Was with base CID 3, 4, 5, 6 months maybe. They transferred me over to 2nd Marine Division CID, where I was chief investigator. And but I had decided the reason why they transferred me, as I already said, I'm getting out. The situations were, terrible in the Marine Corps, as they were in other services, but there was a lot of killings going on, a lot of murders going on, and a lot of this crazy stuff. So I got out of the Marine Corps.
You're talking about internally.
Yeah, right.
This is happening, not being a Marine going to war, and this is internal.
No, this is stuff that was going on. Just a quick example: a Navy corpsman medic got arrested for what they call secret peeping Tom, and I knew downright well it wasn't him. But there had been a lot of trouble with the peeping Tom on base housing. And I went into the provost marshal there at Camp Lejeune, and I said, this guy didn't do it. I mean, I just know he didn't do it. And they nearly killed him in the brig, beating him up. Turned out he didn't do it. Who did do it was the sergeant of the brig.
Pinned it on him.
But I had gone above and beyond trying to get this Navy corpsman off this rap, and it was just anything that they were having problems politically with the Marine Corps and other services, they would just find somebody to pin it on and walk away. Let it be somebody else's problem.
But as a CID, that was your job to investigate and.
Oh yeah, well, Marine Corps CID at that time was what you see on TV in CIS. That's what we were back then, and they've cooled it down. They brought the Navy in for NCIS, and the Marine Corps CID no longer does the big major cases. But when I was in, you did intelligence work. You did read the book, The Phoenix Program by Douglas Valentine. There's a whole chapter in there about me, my troops.
And it's the Phoenix?
The Phoenix Program, Douglas Valentine.
Douglas Valentine. I'm going to look that up.
It's a really, really good book. But it talks about what the CIA the American CIA and the Korean CIA were doing to promote the Vietnam War, make it look. At the time, everybody was protesting it. There were riots going on. It was just terrible set of circumstances. When we came back from Vietnam and we came into the States, we had to sneak in. The planes would have to go to other bases and all. Whatever the schedule was that they were going to fly into this air base or this airport.
Our servicemen and women
at the last minute they'd change it so that the protesters wouldn't get over there.
Yeah,
it's a pretty dangerous thing to attack a Marine that's just come out of combat.
Well, just as any service member that's coming back from combat.
The guy's coming back and he's half crazy with everything that's going on. Now that he's going to face some jackass who's going to throw an egg at him or a tomato or come up and smack him across the face. Not a good idea. Yet the politicians would make it the Marines' fault.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
It was like school today. Your kid gets picked on by a bully and he turns around and smacks the guy. Your kid's the one that's in trouble, even though the guy's a butthead. Anyhow,
so how many years did you do the CID?
Oh, hell. Too many. Well, I got out. As I say, I got out. I just got really over it, and I got. I came out of the Marine Corps, and it's funny. I had a job promised to me, and one of the reasons why I was getting out, not only did I have a wife and a new child, I also had a divorced wife and a son in California. I wasn't making all that much money, but I got promised a job as assistant chief of security for Walt Disney World. Now, this is before they had opened, and this was like, wow, what a job.
Yeah.
Turned out the guy that promised me the job, another CID agent that had retired and went to work for Disney, worked for Pinkerton Security. He was a security guard, and he had promised me this job. He was nothing. So here I am back in Merritt Island with, fistful of air. But I got contacted by a lawyer out of Boston by the name of F. Lee Bailey.
I've heard of F. Lee Bailey.
Yeah, his office got a hold of me. Well, Bailey hired, there was a thing that was called Operation Transition. Everybody who was coming back from Vietnam when they were being discharged, there was a log where people could go in and they could find somebody, an auto mechanic, a truck mechanic, a driver, all kinds of things. And apparently Bailey's office was full of Marines. Bailey's a former Marine. And I think everybody in his office, including the secretaries, were former WM, women Marines.
Mm-hmm.
And I got contacted by him probably a week after I'd gotten back home, and I was out looking for a job. Matter of fact, the FBI had offered me a job, and they were paying me less than I was making in the Marine Corps. They had offered it to me. I couldn't do it. Yeah, I was making about, in the Marine Corps, because of my hazardous duty pay, pro pay, all kinds of little gizmos that throw in for CID officers. I was making about $13,500 a year. And the FBI offered me $9,000. So, but I had this great job offer for Disney World, which turned out to be baloney.
Yeah, the whack and hut.
Deal.
And then you get contacted by F. Lee Bailey, which F. Lee Bailey, for our listeners who don't know who F. Lee Bailey is, he's a criminal defense attorney, famous for a lot of different things. he was the defense attorney for Sam Shepard, the Boston Strangler, Albert DeSalvo, all the way down up to OJ. He was involved with the J Simpson trial, which, you know, probably a lot of our listeners are familiar with that. So
probably one of the greatest lawyers that's ever lived, with the exception of Pierce down there.
He's still
in any event, I
Station.
had
So young.
I got this call from his office telling me to go to Orlando and get on a plane, be a ticket waiting for me, and fly into Boston and meet with Lee Bailey. Now, I knew who Lee Bailey was because I lived in Massachusetts during the Albert DeSalvo Boston Strangler days.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody was terrified. It was just a terrible state of affairs. And Bailey actually defended Albert DeSalvo after they discovered who he was. And which sort of brings me into it, because the guy who caught him, who figured out who he was a guy named Andrew J. Tooney Jr. Andy, Bad Andy, they called him, another former Marine. He was chief of the Strangler Bureau in Boston when they were trying to find DeSalvo. And he found him and somehow contacted Lee Bailey to defend him. I don't really understand how that went. He told me one time while he was drinking his Tanqueray's gin or whatever the heck it was, and I forgot exactly how it went. But I went up and I met with Bailey, and he was really a great guy. He got himself in trouble over the years, but he was, you know, it's because
when you're high profile like that, yeah, it's hard not to.
Yeah, he pissed a lot of people off. In any event, I got sat down with him. He interviewed me, and then told me that his chief investigator, Andrew J. Tooney Jr., was missing. That they had done a trial someplace in Missouri or Kansas, I can't recall where. And he hadn't seen him in 2 weeks. He never came back from, I guess it was Missouri. He'd never come back from Missouri. And Bailey says, if you can find Andy and get him back here, because they need him to testify in the case, you can find him, you got a job. So I said, how the heck am I going to find him? I knew of Andy Tooney. I had read the papers about him too. When I left Bailey's office, walked through the outer office, and his secretary called me over and says, does Bailey want you to find Andy? And I said, yeah, that's my job. If I want to have one, I got to find him. She gave me a piece of paper with a phone number on it. She says, this is Andy Tooney's mother's phone number. Lived up just north of Boston. And so I called her. I left the office and I called her and just told her the truth. I'm trying to find her son. If I could find him, I had a job. She told me exactly where he was. Well, it turned out not a day ever went by that Andy didn't call his mom.
Right.
So I called the hotel he was staying in, Kansas City, and asked for his room number. And some guy answered the phone, sounded vaguely familiar, and put Andy on the phone. It turned out Andy was quite the drinker, really, quite the drinker. And the guy who answered the phone was Danny Thomas. Anyway, you heard of
Danny Thomas, like the
Danny Thomas,
actor guy.
Yeah, he did a
Marlowe,
lot of Marlowe's
Marlowe.
father, right?
Yeah.
He whenever Bailey was defending some bent nose, he would call in Danny, and Danny would testify that he had known this guy half his life and he was the greatest guy in the world. And it really made a difference with the jury. I mean, they would believe him.
Because of Danny Thomas.
Yeah, Danny Thomas said, you should have worn a halo. I mean, seriously, I got to know him, and he was just a great, great guy. And this opened up this children's hospital in Tennessee.
Yep.
And just a great guy. In any event, I told Andy who I was. I was, former Marine. Just got out of the Marine Corps. Gave him a little history of what had happened. And he says, all right. He says, I'll talk to Bailey. He'd been on a drunk. It was like around the Marine Corps birthday. If you had not been in the Marine Corps, it won't impress you. You've been in the Marine Corps, the most important day of your life, besides your birth of your children and what have you, is the Marine Corps birthday.
Right.
And I mean, it is big time.
So who was drunk? Danny Thomas?
Oh, both Danny and Andy would go on these binges.
Danny, okay, both of them.
They'd drink for 2 weeks straight. I wasn't there with Danny. I was there with Andy a lot.
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't a drinker. Never had been. I mean, not that I hadn't drunk, but I never got hooked on it.
Right.
In any event, he went ahead and called F. Lee, and I went back over to the office, just as he had gotten off the phone with Andy, and he says, you got a job. He says, I want you to go back down to Florida and work with, gave me the attorneys' names, and a big, huge corporation that he was represented. And he threw me a roll of money, a roll of cash. And I had really never ever counted it, but it was thousands. He says, get yourself some clothes and report to
work for me, kid, get a suit.
report to this guy in Orlando who I was going to be assisting as an investigator. And personal security was my forte at that time. I did Bob Hope, I did Nancy Sinatra, all kinds of different people that came around, John Wayne, all that they'd come over to Nam, and I would be in charge of their security details.
Yeah.
Yeah, fun stuff.
Nancy Sinatra, Bob Hope. Wow, you got to meet all those people?
These boots are made for walking, Nancy Sinatra and her husband. Yeah, she was really a talented lady, but I don't think her father let her get out there too far. Let her go to Vietnam.
Well, she was traveling with the Bob Hope. What do they call that? He would go over there and entertain the troops.
Yeah, well, they had a number of different things. Operation Entertainment, the Bob Hope thing. And Bob Hope was quite a guy. But probably my favorite person of all that I ever stood security was Martha Ray. You probably don't remember her, but boy,
the name. Was she
Martha
a comedian?
Ray.
Singer.
She was just an entertainer. She was a singer, entertaining, but just a really, really good person.
Yeah.
Moving on from there, I went to work for Bailey and did many, many. I'd probably met every attorney in the world because Bailey, they like to be associated with them. If they had on their letterhead said, F. Lee Bailey up in the upper right-hand corner, they impressed their clients and got big cases. Bailey got indicted 1973. Bailey, along with this big businessman in Orlando, and ended up in a hung trial. Well, Bailey got out of it anyhow. Before they even went to trial, the judge had let him out of it.
Yeah, it's just formality.
Prosecutors were going to recharge him, but they didn't. But
Too
it
well
shut down the.
He's too well connected.
Oh, I mean, you talk about watching that O.J. Simpson trial was just incredible because I knew all the moves Lee made. I could tell when he was about ready to nail somebody.
Yeah.
There was certain little quirks that he would do. In any event, he got O.J. off.
Yeah.
At least for a while.
Well,
and then he got indicted again in Florida for taking money from a defendant that the judge had ruled was ill-gotten gains. And Lee didn't have any money left to pay back to the court. The court was saying all this money was drug money, so you can't have it. They wanted it back. He didn't have it, and he eventually got disbarred. For it. He just died not long ago down in West Palm Beach area. But anyhow, I went to work for him. I did that.
June
went
3rd.
to the trial.
June 3rd last year, he was age 87, died in Atlanta, Georgia.
Oh, was he in Atlanta? Oh.
That's what it
says. Yeah,
says.
that's right. I knew that. Yeah. I think he was in a hospital.
Yeah, he was disbarred in 2001 and 2003 for misconduct, just for what you said there.
But he didn't get. They couldn't shut him up. He had lost his wife back not long after the 2003, 2004. It really, really upset him, even though she was about his number 6 wife. This one he really loved, and it dragged him down.
Yeah. So talk about some of the, because what you did, as I guess you would investigate when he had a case, you would go and you would, get the survey.
Well, he had a ton of people that worked for him, but the person I worked the most closely with was Andy Tooney, Andrew J. Tooney, and we investigated everything from people ripping off the business, all for this big corporation in Orlando. And I mean, I had a Learjet that flew me around. It was quite the gig. And it was a lot different than Vietnam, I can tell you that. Got to ride in the rear bumper of a Jeep.
You can say unless you're in the CIA during Vietnam.
I wasn't CIA. I was never CIA.
Yeah.
I always have to remind people I was CID, Criminal Investigation Department. And CIA, if you read the Phoenix program, the book, you're going to find that the CIA weren't very nice over there.
Yeah.
They were attempting to make the war look like it was like we should be over there fighting and killing these Viet Cong and North Vietnamese regulars, when in fact most of the atrocities were being done by agents of the CIA and the Korean CIA, and I caught them. Read the book. In any event,
I've added that to my, but I've got to get through your books first, and I want to do that before we run out of time. So I kind of wanted you to give just kind of a background so our listeners would get an idea of, what you do, how you relate to these books. So talk about the human trafficking aspect, how you got involved with it.
For a number, I guess 20, 25 years, opened up an agency in Florida and then opened one in Connecticut. Had them both going. Had 22 investigators that worked for us.
So you're doing private investigations?
Yeah, private investigators.
So like Magnum PI, you're a private investigator.
Yeah, well, just not as tall. In any event, I got.
But
opened
equally
up.
as good looking. Come on now.
Yeah, right, right. He didn't have this blonde flowing beard. Actually, I think he does now.
He did have that big mustache though. He always had that
Yeah,
cigarette.
boy, yeah. Big stash.
Yeah.
I started doing all kinds of cases, and you talk about people suing people for no reason whatsoever. And I get involved in a few of those. I didn't like it, but like I used to tell my clients, while I'm investigating this, I'm gathering evidence of the entire picture. So, I mean, we didn't do a lot of domestic divorce cases and all, but when we did, normally it was children was involved in it, and we did everything we could to protect the kids.
Mm-hmm.
But normally, the spouse that's claiming another spouse is cheating was normally the one who's doing the claiming who was doing the most cheating.
Right.
So, but back, I guess in about the middle 80s, we started getting involved with missing children. Matter of fact, we opened up a organization called the Bureau of Missing Children. I didn't stay with it long, but I helped them out. I get
Was that
into
a private organization or a governmental organization?
No, it's all private.
Okay.
We found that the government wasn't doing a great job on it. Now, with 10,000 kids going missing a year, out of the 10,000, probably 50, 60 of them were legitimate kidnappings. The rest of them were parental kidnappings, the non-custodial parent would grab you. You get
family related type stuff. Yeah.
Right. You got Amber alerts now, and 9 out of 10 times they're looking for the father, they're looking for the mother that they have.
And I'm surprised I usually get at least one of those a day on my phone, an Amber Alert.
Yeah. And those, as I say, when they tell you there's 10,000, 100,000 kids missing a year, a lot of those are parental kidnappings.
Yeah.
Somebody just didn't
custodial
bring the kid back
disputes
Sunday afternoon.
Yeah.
But we didn't get invested in involved in many of those, although we did. What we were mainly finding out is that a lot of kids, young women, young men, and young babies, infants, were being stolen or kidnapped and turned into money, whether it be for pornography, whether it be for human
slavery.
Yeah, transplants.
Body parts. Yeah.
Yeah, think of all right, you're a multi-millionaire, and somebody tells you that you have heart failure, and you're probably not going to live a year, but you're a multi-millionaire. There are organizations around the world, probably every country of the world has them, that you can put a special order in for a particular person that's compatible to you or to your children or to your wife.
Mm-hmm. Not legit organizations.
All right. Yeah. So they would go out, and these bad guys, and kidnap the perfect the perfect match for this person. Now, I've heard that there have been as much as $100 million paid for a particular transplant. $100 million for somebody's heart.
Good grief.
But they have people that are rich that'll just buy another human being, whether it's a child or a man, a woman, to travel around with them if they ever have anything go wrong. They need a kidney, they need a liver, they need a heart, they need irises, all kinds of different things. They have them, they literally will travel with this kidnapped person. They keep him doped up all the time so he doesn't try to get a she or they. And in my book, you'll see, although I had to be very careful how to write these books without revealing who they were, so that they wouldn't, the people who felt they owned them wouldn't go after we rescued them.
Yeah.
And or that we wouldn't get in trouble with the law from some of the things we did. Well, what I like to tell people about my books are fiction. My books are fiction.
So you say.
Everything in the book is true except the felonies.
Except the felonies.
So
for our listeners, the first book in his series, the Jake Strom series, is called Stolen Angels. And it is about child trafficking, human trafficking. And it goes into some really shocking details as to this dark, seedy business. And I think more and more of it has been brought to light, but I think there are some things that people just are completely unaware of. Like you said, the body parts, people being kidnapped and stolen and held against their will, for years until they need, in some cases, until they need those body parts. And they're keeping these people drugged and sedated. And their family members think they have, passed, long past, but they may still be alive in this capacity. But then there are some other people that get kidnapped, like you said, and they're just sex slaves, or somebody wants a baby, the babies that are kidnapped, and somebody wants a white, blonde-haired, blue-eyed baby in another country, and they'll steal them and raise them as their own children. But I mean, for all kinds of different reasons. But the money is insane, and I don't think you're exaggerating the money that in your story here on these deals, because like you just said, $100 million is an actual real case where you guys had discovered that, right?
Oh, no felonies in there.
Yeah,
I'm
just saying the reality of it is that this is real and this happens. This happens every day. And
it's just not, I've written a book, and that's the thing that was tough. Writing those books without revealing who it was you were talking about and or where you were.
Actual real life based on a true story kind of deal.
Right.
The names and things have been changed to protect the innocent, so to speak. But the way that you tell the story, it's very detailed. And even though it is a work of fiction, you have to have had some real life experience with this. Not just the the kidnapping instances and the tracking people down, but you said you've got an aviation background, and you go into a lot of detail on flights in here, flying a plane and flight plans and boats, knowing the maritime lights and if you're coming in or out of port and the different engine types and, all that. So, I mean, you go into some really good detail on some of this stuff. It's not just like, they took a yacht and they cruised it in and cruised it out. The level of detail that you go into with this and the firearms too. I wish you'd go into a little more detail on the firearms, but
well, my new book should be out within the next, I'd like to say a couple of months. It's called Destination Despair. I'm going in a lot deeper on weapons and.
Is that another Jake Strom?
Oh yeah.
Okay, another Jake Strom.
There's gonna, as long as I live, there's probably going to end up, I can optimistic, be another 100 books.
Oh yeah, I mean, you've got a lot to tell, from these books, and as you say, you'll in your book you'll go into talking about something, and you say, well, that's for another story, and I take that as there might be a book coming out to maybe go in more detail about what happened.
Well, what's happened at
or whatever.
When I brought out that book, the first book, Stolen Angels, I had just about everybody that read the book would say the same thing. We hated to see it end. They would slow down reading it because they could see the end of the book coming up. So the blue book, Homeward Angels.
Yeah.
Homeward Angels is an extension novelette to Stolen Angels. It's called Homeward Angels. That gives you a little idea of once we've rescued them, how we've managed to get them back to the families. You never felt anything so rewarding as to watch the parents embrace their child who's been missing for, in some cases, years, and watch them at an airport. You just take and walk. You just take and walk. You got what?
I said I got
that signed.
Yeah, you actually signed that one, and you signed the blue one and the green one. So I got the actual autographs on that, not a sticky note signature.
Well, if anybody wants to have a signed copy, all they have to do is contact me through my website, and
they can buy a signed copy.
I'll make it happen.
Very cool.
And we don't have all the time in the world. However, if in fact there are certain groups around the country that originally worked for me, and they're doing a lot of the same things, a lot of lawyers involved in it. If somebody has a real problem, they're welcome to send a note to my website or even to my email, and we'll see what we can do for them.
You're talking about if they have a missing loved one?
Yeah.
Very cool. Very cool. So you're still kind of involved with that world?
Yeah. I don't just look like I'm as old as dirt. I am as old as dirt. Although I still have some shoes that are older than me.
Oh, I do too. But I wanted to say that, I wanted to disagree with some of these people because I can't read it fast enough. Because you're chasing this guy, and it's just like one of those. And I don't want to give the book away, but it's like, just missed him here. Oh, just missed him there, and it's just like, hurry. You gotta get on your horse and you gotta get there, kind of thing. So I'm quite the opposite.
This is truthfully the way things work. If you go to the movies and you see, a great movie with, a handsome movie star, and they go after a particular end game and win right at the end. In reality, in this business, it's a disappointment after a disappointment after a disappointment. However, every time that you fall back because you've missed them, like you say, just missed them, but it puts us closer than where we were yesterday. And eventually we catch up, and we're relentless son of a bitches, I'll tell you.
It reminds me of the movie, is it National Treasure, where Nicolas Cage, and they're looking for the Masonic treasure or whatever, and it's like one clue leads to another.
Oh yeah,
leads to another clue. It leads to, it's just never ending. So it's kind of, I get mad at you because I think, all right, this is where he's going to catch him right here. He's got him nailed, and then it's like, oh, that's not it. And then then you get the next clue, and you're like, oh, we're just minutes behind. We're just a day behind here, a day behind there, and it really gets the reader involved, and it makes you think you're there with you. The way that, because I feel like I'm there with you and Sorensen and Gage and all the guys, and I feel like I'm there, and the details, like I said, that you go into with the flight plans and the street maps and locating these places. I mean, you can tell that you've done your research and you've either been there, spent some time in all these places, or you did. Really good map search.
Think about having to write it without revealing where you were, who it was, what have you. That was the most difficult thing I've ever undertaken in my life. But it's become easier and easier because I can now feel my way out. And even though you don't want to see it end, we never give up. Never, ever give up.
Yeah.
Even with the people who get frustrated with us, parents are saying, you've been working on this for a year and we don't know anything. That doesn't necessarily mean I don't know anything. I just, you can't tell people a great deal because they need to speak with other people.
Yeah, but you got to think that you're dealing with these people who have endless supply of money and resources that you're up against, and they can, it's like you said, trying to find a needle in a haystack kind of thing. And
my son Pierce, lawyer, sitting down there in the bottom square.
Welcome to Hollywood Squares.
He spent many, many days, nights, months in safe houses because there was people after us.
Yeah.
And although he was too young to remember it, there's some stuff will be coming out in my future books. And look what he's grown into.
Even despite all your great upbringing, look what he turned.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
He's
an attorney.
I'm quite proud of him. His sister's an attorney too. My daughter Kaylee.
Oh, look at
She's
that.
an attorney down in Brevard County, which is where Caltech is.
Cocoa Beach. Yeah, Cocoa,
Yep.
Florida. I love it down there. It's beautiful, and that's you do a lot of descriptions of that area in your book too, and I would assume that's because you've spent a lot of time there. But just the Hong Kong, the Rio, going to Rio and all the detail in the streets and the hotels and the way that people act. You've got demeanors down. It's just, you just do a really good job, and it captivates and captures. It does me anyway, and I can't recommend it enough. So if people want to buy your book, I guess they can go. You've got a website, is that what you said? What's your website?
Yeah, Pierce can you put it up, Pierce?
Yeah, so his books are available exclusively on Amazon. We just put up a website, jakestormbooks.com.
Okay, hold on.
Yeah, it's jakestormbooks.com. And if you wanted to email him directly, it's jakestormbooks@gmail.com.
jakestormbooks.com?
Yeah, we just published the website literally this afternoon. So hopefully it's up.
Just for
definitely
the
needs a little
show,
bit of work,
you
but
got it there, didn't you?
pretty much.
So
Something we've been meaning to do for a while, but it hey, it works.
I'm glad
Yeah, if you click you can click the books available, the link down there, that'll bring you to the first one, but then there's links to each book on the books in order tab as well.
Okay, and that's where I'm at here. So you can go and get Stolen Angels, Homeward Angels, and then the San Andreas Fault.
Yep. And there's a link at the bottom for each of those, little blurb about the author and a way to contact them.
And here's the Amazon page that you can go to. And it's there's an audio available or Kindle? There's a Kindle available.
Kendall.
There's a Kindle, no audio yet, but Kindle and paperback.
Very nice. And it's only $4.99 on Kindle and only $13.50 paperback. So very cool. And let's see. Here's the other ones down here. So the other ones are down here too. So yeah, they're all on there.
Yep, the links are directly from on the books in order tab on the website.
Now, would you
so those
go to the website or to Amazon to buy the book?
whichever. It's probably easier to find through.
Now, come on,
just
when you
through
get
website.
his, Instagram set up, you got to get him an Instagram set up, Facebook,
Yeah, we're working on that.
Twitter. Now that
Yeah.
Elon's taking over Twitter, you can get set up on Twitter there.
There you go.
But
But yeah, either way, it's the
But what's
website
really
brings you
good-
directly to those, and if you have to jump through a few hoops if you go through Amazon directly.
I got you. But what I find fascinating about this is as you get into this world, it reminded me a lot of the Jeffrey Epstein stuff that we've heard about here recently. I'm seeing a lot of that in this book as well, because you're getting a lot of high profile figures politically, in the entertainment that are involved with this too. So there's a lot of politics involved that make it even more difficult for these children to be found, because you got all these political influences that don't want the truth coming out. And I know you say this is a fictional book, but that's the God honest truth, is that there are political figures involved, and we saw that with the Jeffrey Epstein case.
Oh, yeah.
People dying and getting killed because they didn't want the truth coming out. Jeffrey Epstein did not hang himself.
Did you catch that?
Yeah. But and that's the world that you have lived in for all these many decades, and like you said, you've even had to put your family in protective custody because of that. And have you personally had any attacks against you, I guess, politically, where you've had to go to court and defend yourself? And
I don't recall.
you don't recall?
I've had,
Well,
no, I haven't got to the court thing. We have too much of the truth.
Yeah.
We know too much.
Yeah.
And in order to come and knock on my door,
right,
you better have some backup.
Well, I mean, you got some right there, over to your right there. So. Well, that'd be your left.
Yeah, it's opposite. And when you get into Homeward Angels, the next book up from Stolen Angels, you're going to see we sort of touch around that famous folks and what they've been involved in. So
yeah, and then your third book, what's the third one about? What's the
San Andros Fault?
San Andreas
play
Fault?
on words. San Andros.
Oh, San Andros.
Just the
It's the big island in the Bahamas.
Yeah, Andros Island is the biggest island in the Bahamas. The north side of that island, there's a community called San Andros. I just use that as a part of the.
So it says, Jake Strom is summoned to duty once more when an innocent man is incarcerated on San Andros Island for a crime he did not commit. But Jake's investigation into the case takes a nasty turn when he discovers high-ranking government officials and even modern-day Nazis are hot to shut him down. Soon, Jake learns there is no escape from pure evil. Darth. A Jake Strom novel.
I've heard that before.
What's that? Pure evil?
That thing you just read. In any event, that
sums up what this book is about. So,
it's an interesting book. Most folks don't know about
the little
Operation Paperclip or Operation Overcast. After the Second World War, they had a whole bunch of German scientists and guys that actually started and ran our space exploration.
Uh-huh.
These are, these Nazi rocket engineers.
Yeah, we stole all their scientists and brought them over here.
Yeah, right. And and not just that, but folks Nazis that knew. I'm losing my voice here. Nazis that knew the inner workings of the Soviet system.
Mm-hmm.
And so they brought them over and put them to work, writing down everything they knew. But then they had to do something. They had to put them someplace. So they did. And I'm not necessarily saying they put them up in San Andros. As I say, I just use that as the background. But these Nazis were that book is fiction also. And if I get too deep into it, it's going to it'll spoil it. So
yeah,
it was an exciting time.
Definitely don't want to spoil it. So like I said, I'm only on 17.
Chapter 17.
Chapter 17. I'm on chapter 17. See it right there. And I think we just got off the G5 with the two hot chick pilots. With the hidden Falcon cargo bay where you got guns and money. You just recovered all this money and stuff, and now you guys are headed to Thailand. I believe that's where we're headed now, is Thailand. So that's where I'm at in the book. And as soon as we get off here, I'm gonna read it. I'm gonna start reading some more. So I'm gonna finish it up.
All right. Well,
but we gotta have you back on. When
that's what I was gonna say.
Another one coming out. When do you think you're gonna get your next one?
Well, I should finish it within the next couple of months. If I was to go, balls to the wall, I'd have it done in a week.
Yeah.
It's I've got a lot going on of what, in my business and what have you. So
yeah.
As soon as I get closer, we'll keep in touch. I'll keep in touch with you.
Okay. Now,
but once you finish the book, it has to go in for editing. And then matter of fact, I've got about 100 pages done in Destination Despair. And I've already had those 100 pages have already been edited. Now, it's all the same characters in the Green Book and the St. Andrew's Fault. All the same characters: Gage, the tree, the Major.
Oh, so the tree's still with us. Good. Yeah. I like the tree.
Yeah, he's a pretty big boy.
Is he based on somebody you know?
They're all based on people I know, or they maybe
Maybe
two or three people in the same.
Yeah.
You know, I'm describing, but no, I've been with the tree for Lord knows.
So I noticed, and again, I don't want to give anything away, but we're talking about the firearms, because there's a lot of firearms references in this book, silencers, and when we watch the old movies, the old James Bond and the spy movies, they're using 22s a lot. They're not pulling out high caliber rifles or pistols or anything like that. They're doing a lot of small caliber type pistols, and that really kind of hits home in this book too. I was paying close attention to the different firearms and guns that they were using, and of course what they were acquiring, some of them along the way. But I got to ask you about this one reference that you did, and you said tagged along like a Chris Christopherson song. What did you mean by that?
I'm trying to recall.
I didn't mark it, but I was just like, that's interesting, because I know who Chris Christopherson is, and you're like, he tagged along like a Chris Christopherson song.
Well, no, there was a song that Chris, who is a friend of mine too, by the way.
Oh, you know him personally? You knew him personally?
Oh yeah, yeah. Matter of fact, this one here, the last time my wife and I saw him, Chris was in Orlando. We had to get a babysitter for Pierce, and I think it was the first time that we had ever. Well, he was 6 months old before anybody knew about him at all, except immediate family, because at the time we were doing the Iran-Contra.
Mm-hmm. So I loved him in Blade, but then even before that, what was that trucker movie that he was in? I can't remember what it was called. He was in a bunch of stuff. Blade Trinity. Let's see. I think it was back in the 70s, maybe. Convoy. That's what it was. Convoy. Remember that movie Convoy? There was a song on it and everything. Convoy.
We might have lost him, Marty.
Did we lose him?
Something wrong? Yeah, Marty. He somehow got disconnected.
Can we get him reconnected? Because I was talking about Chris Christopherson.
Yeah, sorry about that.
I'm going all fanboy now. Getting all fanboy on him. I mean, he's got a whole lot more, and I wanted to hear more about his, history.
Yeah.
But that would make for like a great another show. But I wanted to get his book. I want to talk about his book.
If you want to do like a follow-up anything, we can make that happen. I mean, within the last like 10 years or so, he was involved in a number of things, like if you remember, there was a big thing out in South Dakota where the Sioux Indians were, like the children were being taken from the Sioux Indians.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he makes reference to that in this book.
Yeah, so he was intimately involved in that and returned a hell of a lot of kids back to their family. Okay.
I think that that's another story for another time.
Yeah, I mean, you could do a full podcast on that alone.
Going back to tag along, he had written a song about and it's crazy, I can't pull it out of my main housing group, about a girl that grew up and was tagging along behind him. forget the name of the song. It'll come to me. Huh?
Probably tag along.
No, it wasn't tag along. It was.
Let's see.
Well, that's my point.
So he had a song that was.
Yeah, it was a song where the theme of the song was that this young girl followed him around like a big brother, and here comes. I can't get Bobby McGee out of my head, and that's not it. But the little,
Me and Bobby McGee is one. Jody and the Kid.
Jody and the Kid. There you go. Jody and the Kid was where this girl tagged along behind him. I probably should have written that better.
Well, I mean, it's one of those things that it's kind of vague unless you know Chris Christopherson. And,
right.
I mean, I know who Chris
you know,
Christopherson is, but I didn't get that reference, so that's what it was. I was like, I know Chris Christopherson, but I'm not getting that. So
yeah,
I had to ask you what that was, and of course, there's tons of Marine references in the book. It's an homage to the Marines. I think the entire book is.
Yeah, I get it. I had fun working on the doggies. The Army guys saying, by the way, that's 1600. It's 4 o'clock for you Army guys.
Right. Yeah.
Just, I mean, I have
many
your
jabs in there, so you kind of break the. What's that call where they in the movies where they look at the camera and they talk to the camera? So you kind of talk to the audience. Break the fourth wall. Yeah, you break the fourth wall in this book a few times, which I thought was good. I like that too. But yeah, I really am enjoying this book, and I'm looking forward. I've got a trip coming up that I'm going to definitely finish it on, and you might give me some tips on where I'm going, maybe to keep me safe and out of harm's way. And we'll talk about that offline. But so the website, you guys can go to, it's jakestormbooks.com. And there's some information there and links to where you can buy the books, or you can go to Amazon. You can get the books there too. And are we giving away one or two, a couple of books to our listeners? Is that what you want to do?
Yeah, 2.
You want to give away 2 of this one?
You can have. You want? Yeah, I'd rather have people read the first book.
Okay, let's start off with. Absolutely. So we're going to give away 2 of William Johnstone Taylor's Stolen Angels. And the way that I'm going to do this is it's first come, first serve. So the first 2 to email me, talkingled@gmail.com, send your name, your address, and if I respond back to you, then you'll know that you've won. If I don't respond back, that means you didn't win. But the first 2 people who email me, talkingled@gmail.com, reference this episode, what episode it is, what number, and then put that you really want a copy of Stolen Angels from Mr. Bill Taylor here.
Anyone who buys the book and would like it personalized, do the same thing. Just contact it. Now
don't contact me, contact him on his website. So you go to his website and you contact Mr. Taylor, and he'll make arrangements to get you an autographed copy that you buy. And I guess the 2 that we give away, you're going to sign those?
Certainly.
Or you're going to say to Leadhead, whoever, and get an autographed copy. So that's nice, man. Thank you for doing that. I appreciate it. And then I also have an extra copy of this, but I'm going to share it with, I've got somebody in mind that I want to share it with already. So I'm going to share the love. Now, what I also do from time to time is I loan my books out to my friends, but they eventually are supposed to be sending them back. So when I get done reading this, I have somebody that I'll probably loan it out to and let them read too. But very good. We got to have you back. Definitely got to have you back. You were killing me with the backstories because I want to hear more about your history and what led you to your walk of life that you're in now. And we could do a whole another 2 or 3 shows on that. So our goal today was to talk about your book, let our listeners know about your book, a little bit about you, and we're going to have you back as long as you'll come back.
Be my pleasure.
And maybe we can do what Pierce had suggested. Maybe we can get you guys to come up to Nashville, or I could even come down there. We could go hit a range, do some shooting, have some good food, good drink, good times.
Definitely. That would be great. Let us know what you want to do.
Okay. Well, we'll keep in touch. But thank you, Pierce, for making this happen, setting up, arranging it.
Certainly.
Really
Thank you for
appreciate
having
it.
us.
Oh, absolutely. And like I said, you're welcome back anytime. And I'll probably be in touch with you when I get done with the book too, just to let you know that I finished up, and I may have some more questions about maybe some of your references that I didn't get that went over my head.
You've got my phone number, so give me a call.
Absolutely. I do. So when you ignore me,
This is funny, this is a mirror image, the screen. So when I go to salute you, it's a left-handed salute. So I'll shoot you with a real left-handed salute, but it'll look like it's my right.
There you go.
All right. And all of you Marines out there, Semper Fi.
I love it. So Leadheads, go check him out. Let him know how much you appreciate him being on the show and that you want to have him back on. And Pierce is on the Instagrams. If you guys want to hit Pierce up, you can hit him up. And your P-Man
301.
P-Man 301 on the Instagrams. And I know that he is registered. He qualifies for that optic that we're giving away. He's one of the 10, only 10 that really want to get that optic from Primary Arms.
My chances.
And I'm going to announce the winner of the next AK Corner. And just to let you know, if you're listening to this right now, I've probably already recorded the AK Corner, so you're probably shit out of luck. But that's what you get. You snooze, you lose. You gotta listen to my shows. You gotta pay attention to my shows because I drop clues and we give away cool stuff all the time.
And you gotta listen to the end.
You gotta listen to the end. Sometimes you gotta listen at the very beginning too. Because I know a lot of people will skip that very beginning because sometimes I sneak stuff in before the intro music also. So if you're a diehard listener, you know this. And those people are the ones who get in on all the cool stuff, like Pierce, and like your buddy Nutsack Archer. Is that his name?
Might as well be.
He changes his name on Instagram so often. So, but go and support our sponsors, Mission First Tactical. Go to their website, use the code LEADHEAD, 20% off. seal1.com. LEADHEAD, 25% off. 1776 United, you see this awesome shirt that I'm wearing today that says "Buy Terrorist Scum." You can get that. Plus, you can get our official Talking Lead logoed T-shirts, patches, the Leadhead Brigade logoed patches like that. T-shirts also, Leadhead Brigade. You can go to 1776 United, use the code Talking Lead, get 20% off there. Factory 47 for our AK Corner official apparel, Factory 47 FAKTORY 47. Use Leadhead, get 10% off there. Defiant Munitions for your ammo needs. You get some great high quality ammunition. Defiant Munitions, use the code Leadhead, all caps. You get 10% off Defiant Munitions. Medicine in Bad Places. You need to get your IFAK kits ordered up. You need to get supplies for those. Go to Medicine in Bad Places. Use the code LEADHEAD20, lowercase LEADHEAD20. You get 20% off Medicine in Bad Places. And then, of course, Keltec Weapons. Use the code LEADHEAD, get 15% off in their pro shop. Anything non-firearms related there. So, guys, thanks so much. I appreciate it. And until the next episode, Leadheads, as always, keep your loved ones close.
Your firearms closer.
And make sure you get your copy of Stolen Angels by William Johnstone Taylor.